This meeting is being recorded.
And let me share my screen. Let's choose this. Woohoo! All right. I hate when. Welcome everybody to our January new member orientation, and let's really just get right into this. We've got a lot of people here. This is great. Let's see, what is it? 31 people showed up. This is incredible. So, like I said earlier, if you could stay muted, if you have a question, feel free to unmute and ask a question. You can also put it in chat. I feel really bad at the general meeting. I forgot to look at the chat to see if anybody had asked questions. So I felt really bad about that. So hopefully I'll get that general meeting guest speaker up on the YouTube channel this weekend. So if anybody missed that, you can rewatch it. All right, well, let's just we're just gonna dive right in. Here we go. Oops. This is just a quick agenda of what we're going to be covering. Since I created this, we've actually got more put in here, so let's just keep going. Quick history of the club. SAS has been in existence for over 90 years. We had our first meeting back in 1931 at the Seattle Library. You can see the gentleman there on the left, William Gifford Hale. He started getting friends together, and I think they had like 30 members in 1931, and managed to get a lot of these pictures from the Seattle newspaper. So that's pretty cool. He was actually a member of the Royal Canadian Astronomical Society. You can see here, the club was officially incorporated in 1951, and we actually have two members from back in that time. They were actually teenagers when they joined the club in the late 40s, so that's pretty cool. As you can see there, the club used to have these junior astronomers. They had like their own subset of the club. They had their own. They elected their own president and secretary and treasurer. It was pretty cool, and I'm really not sure when that died out, but I'd really like us to start that back up. There's an article in the paper about Denise Riley in 1962, and the article said that even though Denise stays up to like 2 o'clock in the morning, she's still an A student. I don't know what they meant by that. And then we got two members back in 1931. You know, they were making their own. They were writing their own mirrors and lenses. And up in the upper right, we've got Forrest and Norman Dalkey. Norman Dalkey ran the club for many years back in the 50s, and he was pretty prominent. And then we got another picture of Mrs. Wayne Mosby and Norman Dalkey. Currently, we have over 530 members in the club. And this is kind of like a graph of where everybody lives. This is from maybe about a year ago, but it's a distribution. It shows you where kind of like where everybody is spaced. And I thought it was pretty cool. I'm sorry, Jennifer, it shows your name, and you should have been talking to this. I apologize. If I step on somebody, just say, Alan, please.
No worries.
Is Katie with us? I guess not. Jen, you want to talk to this slide?
Sure. So if you are interested in learning more about Seattle Astronomical Society, we have a lot of information on our website, seattleastro.org. We also have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/SeattleAstro. We're also on Instagram, Seattle Astro, YouTube, it's Seattle Astronomicals Society 9433. And then we do have the Web-Footed Astronomer, which is emailed a monthly newsletter. And if you have any questions about membership, please contact me at membership@seattleastro.org.
All right. Yeah. So we have a lot of social media that's available. So you should definitely get on Facebook. You'll start getting web-footed astronomers every month, and then go check out our YouTube channel. And if I click the right button, Keith, you want to talk about general meetings?
Sure. So, Keith Crum here. I do so-called activities. Most of my work is focused on getting speakers for our monthly meetings and for our banquet. We try to get as much variety of speakers as we can. So we do have UW and Bellevue professor, as you heard the other night. We've had people from JPL at last year's banquet. We had a guy who was involved with JPL and lives down south, and he came up and talked to us about New Horizons and about Mars. And here's some examples of some of the people. So this year we're going to have Casey Dreyer from the Planetary Society. He's going to be there for our banquet on the 30th of March. And Casey, if you look up the Planetary Society and want to know more about Casey, he has a whole catalog of all kinds of different space advocacy things that he's done, podcasts. So that's just kind of an example. Troy Carpenter he's kind of the opposite of our speaker the other night. Troy doesn't bring a presentation. He brings his computer and then he just says to the audience, "What's on your mind?" And then he just goes.
Yeah, it's impressive. He does it right off the cuff.
Yeah,
it's just incredible.
You could have Troy come. We could have Troy come every month. So he's from the Goldendale Observatory, and he's been there 10 years, and he's very, very good. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I don't know, Alan, anything else I should add?
So we do have we typically have our meetings at the University of Washington in the Physics and Astronomy Auditorium. We have just started recently branching out and been having them at the Bellevue College Planetarium.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I wanted to say that we last year we did a summer series where we went to Bickerson's Brew House for one thing. We did a show and tell where members came and just brought their own pictures and their own stories. And we came out here to Woodinville, where I am, and we had a summer party out here with one of our own doing the speaking. So sometimes we like to have our own members talk as well, just to see what's going on. So thanks. I wanted to add that. Yes, and we're trying to move it around and not just be at the UW.
Yeah, and I think as he said, third Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m.
Yep.
We're trying to keep them hybrid, so people that are sick or people that just can't get to a meeting because of family or work or whatever, they can still join in on the meeting. But we'd really like to have you at the meeting because you get to interact with members there and guest speakers. So it's just a great thing to do. And I think are we at the University of Washington Planetarium for February?
Yes, for February we are, and we'll be a UW professor. I'm not sure which one or what the subject is yet, but we'll know that, and it'll be on the website in the next few days.
All right, great. Thanks, Keith. Let's see. Star parties. So now star parties are like the bread and butter of being in an astronomy club. So as you can see here, we have 5 locations that we do star parties at: Paramount Park, Covington Community Park, Bonnie Lake, Snoqualmie Point Park, and right next door to Snoqualmie Point Park is the Rattlesnake Ledge parking area, and that's a members only event. So that's just for members, and it's not an outreach. So you won't You won't have people telling you kind of things. That's where you go and you kind of, it gives you a chance to do some kind of serious observing. It's really great at Snoqualmie Point Park because the skies there are definitely much darker than at Paramount and Covington, and probably a little bit darker than we have in Buckley for Bonnie Lake. Here are the locations. And if you want me to go back to any slide, and what I recommend is you can screen snapshot a slide if there's something you want to see on there. And so you can see down in Bonnie Lake, Covington, Snoqualmie Point Park, and then Shoreline. And I'd really like us to get something up, further north and maybe over, down closer in Seattle, maybe like Columbia City or over on West Seattle. But we need volunteers for that. So if anybody lives in those areas and would like to do that, that's great. Let us know. So I'm going to kind of quickly cover protocol when going to a star party. So we do have some guidelines, and one of the big things is the host has the final authority. Please don't touch other people's telescopes without permission because you don't want them to touch yours. No white lights, just dim red lights. Only presenters can have laser pointers. If you bring a guest or children, you're responsible for them. If possible, please leave pets at home. If you do bring them, do not have them on a leash because they'll get tied up in the tripod and they'll dump a telescope. So please be careful and responsible for your pet. Drive safely and slowly. If like it's in a parking lot and there's people walking around, if possible, don't use headlights. Arrive before the sun goes down. If you know you're going to be leaving before the event is over, park towards the exit with your headlights pointing away so that you'll cause minimal disruption. A lot of people will put painter's tape over their lights, their backup lights, and then make sure that the lights in the vehicle are set to not turn on when you open the car door. Maybe you like jazz or rock or whatever, and maybe the person next to you doesn't necessarily. So, either have earbuds or just keep noise to a minimum. Of course, we're usually always in a park, so you need to observe all park and campground regulations. And then finally, we never leave anybody alone if possible. If you ever have any questions, ask the host. If this is your first time going to a star party, dress warm and layer up. And that way you can take off clothes if you start to get hot, you start to get cold, and you can put them back on. Get those little hand warmers, where you tear them open and you can shake the stuff and it gets warm and they last for like 6 to 8 hours. Those are great. I would recommend getting some of those. Get like a red light flashlight or a headlamp. Those work really great. Bring snacks and a thermos with your favorite warm drink, a comfy chair and blanket. Make sure you charge your mobile devices and bring extra batteries. In summer, you might want to bring some insect repellent. Bring your binoculars and telescope, and make sure you load up a planetarium app on your phone. If you do bring your telescope, make sure beforehand that you've got all your stuff. I have shown up at several star parties and I'm missing pieces. Like I miss my diagonal, or I forget to bring my stool or an eyepieces, and it's miserable. Make sure you charge up your batteries or your power bank before coming. If you need cables, bring all the cables. Grab every cable you've got in the house and bring it with you, because assuredly you will miss the one that's most critical. And then have a toolbox of just stuff like duct tape, electrician's tape, multi-tool, all that stuff. You might want to bring a lens cleaning kit, but hopefully you cleaned it before you brought it out. Star charts, books, log books. If you have an Alt-Az mount, you definitely want to bring a bubble level. All right. Let's see. I think Bob Mulford is out. So everybody needs to know that we've got a really nice equipment library, and you should use it as much as possible. I think Katie says that she has checked out just about every single item that we've had in our equipment library. We've got a lot of great stuff in there. And rather than you going out and spending $2,000 or $3,000 on a piece of equipment just to discover that you don't like it, you should check it out of our equipment library first and see if you like it. It's really great, and we'll be kind of covering that when we do our we go through the website. Oh, look at that website tour! Imagine that. Let me gotta find a go to. Stop the share here. And then share. So you can see here, let me bring this up a little bit. This is our website, and I'm logged in as me. So there's going to be some stuff on here that you won't see, like all this edit stuff. So I'm also happen to be the club webmaster. So I've got a few items on here. So when you go to the main SAS, we've got the tabs across the top. And then this, if you ever need to, this area right here, if you ever need to change any of your profile data, it'd really be nice if you could enter some bio and your picture if possible. And so on this, we got some quick finds, like if you would just want to quickly get to one of these areas. We do have this rotating carousel of upcoming events. You can see here that we've got a fundraiser going on for our Dark Sky site and for phase 2, and then we're 45% through this. So, smash on that donate button if you've got some time or money to spend. Announcements are here. And then down here, if you go down here, you can see the sky conditions, and we've put in here for both Seattle, Rattlesnake, Covington, Bonnie Lake, and Goldendale. And if it's white, so these are, if it's white, that means that, or gray, the viewing is poor. You want dark blue or black. That's when you know that you've got good viewing coming up. And you're supposed to be able to click on these, but for some reason that's not working. I need to look into it. And we're looking at adding a better, more in-depth sky conditions chart. We can also see the recent observing awards, and so we'll talk a little bit about observing awards coming up. This is a big item. If you want to know what's coming up, go to the events page, and you can see everything during the month. And what's really great is Ward recently, he's our website developer, added these icons about a year and a half ago. So it helps you see, if you got a new moon or what phase of the moon that's coming up. And we can see that when you click into an item, let's say like here, Paramount School Park, and you can see when it is, stuff like that, where it's at. If you go down here, click on the I plan on attending, if that's the one that you're going to go to, because then you will get notifications if it gets canceled or if it gets changed for whatever reason. And so make sure you come to the calendar periodically, at least like once a week, because sometimes things will get added on the fly. You can see what's coming up next week, or next month, I mean, for example. So you can help plan these items. Over here on the maps and directions, You can scroll down, you can see where we have our star party locations. Discussions about star parties. If you missed, since I went through the star party guidelines so fast, you can catch them here. It's a little bit more in depth. This just discusses that we have a astrophotography special interest group. We'll go over that a little bit later. This will discuss the upcoming banquet. We haven't updated this for 2024 yet, but it just talk about it and allow you to buy tickets. General meetings. We're trying to crank back up our visual observing group. So this is kind of like a SIG, but for just people that don't do astrophotography, but are just into visual observing. So if you're into that, let us know. And then we have a telescope workshop that we're trying to bring back as well. So I think Bob is interested in cranking that up, possibly. Let's move on to the equipment tab. So this is, as a member, you get free availability to check something out. So like currently, like we have this Orion SkyQuest XT8. It's an 8-inch Dob. It's a great a Dob of that size is great for a new member to play with. Great light gathering ability, and it's light enough to move around and use. So you just go in and obviously you can't do a lot of these, but you would click on it and check borrow out, and then you would be Bob would be one of the members of the equipment team would be reaching out to you. And you can see things that are coming up, ready to be available soon. So you can always, if something is checked out, you can put your name on the list for borrowing. So like we currently know who has it, and available eventually. So, and you can see if there's multiple people in line to check something out. And so you can go through this and just see the type of equipment that we have. Usually our equipment is heavily borrowed, and we're always trying to grow our equipment library. And but we don't have that many volunteers, and so we're looking at contracting with Cloudbreak Optics to help us with the check-in and check-out of equipment, and that will allow us to grow the size of the library. And then also there's guidelines for checking it out and for how long you can have it. I think Bob said it's shorter during the summer. I think it's like 1 month, and then in the winter it's 2 months, 2 or 3 months. Here's the outreach tab. If you know, this is where people can go and request an outreach event. Can you turn that off, please?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Can request an outreach event at like maybe a school or for a corporation. And then we definitely need volunteers. So this, and Wendy, say hello. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
So Wendy is our outreach coordinator, and so she loves working with volunteers. So if there's something you want to volunteer, you definitely want to reach out to Wendy, and you can get a hold of her at outreach@seattleastro.org. And if you want to know how to reach any of us, you go to the About tab, click on Board. You will see, like for example, you can email me, past president, Keith, education, and so you just come down here to Wendy. Wendy, why are you way at the bottom? And you can email her. Let's go back to outreach. How to volunteer. So we've got this page that kind of sort of works. It lets you know of the types of volunteers we're looking for. So I added a lot of these today, but we're looking for star party volunteers. These are people that would go and show up to help direct people, hand out brochures, maybe run a telescope, So if you're interested in that, and we'll give you all the training, so don't be scared. And it's okay when you're a volunteer. We're all volunteers. Even everybody on the board is a volunteer. So if somebody comes up, don't be afraid if somebody comes up and says, "Oh, what is the stellar mass of Betelgeuse, and what exactly is it going to?" We all get those questions, and you just say, "Hey, let's look that up on our phone." And it's okay not to know everything, because I definitely do not know everything. Um, we're building this. We're purchasing property to have our own dark sky site over in Eastern Washington, and we're looking for volunteers for that, um, both to help develop it and to help run it and maintain it. We're looking at kicking off this new neighborhood star party. So this is like if you got a telescope and you got some friends and you got either a lawn or some place where you live where people can gather and you got a good view of the sky. Haul your telescope out and get your neighbors and your friends together and just show them the sky. And maybe you might do this monthly or quarterly or something like that. But um, uh, people will really really love looking through a telescope, and that's a great way to get friends and neighbors interested in the hobby. We need equipment volunteers as well. So if you're really handy with tools and working on devices, the equipment team could use you. If you're great with social media or like to write up articles, um, publicity team could really use you. And then there's a group of people that just love grabbing their telescope. They're hardcore, right? And going out to a park or a sidewalk or a parking lot, setting up and just telling people, "Hey, why don't you come by and take a look at the moon?" They'll just point at the moon. John Dobson really kind of started this. A gentleman back, I think, when did John start, in the 70s or 60s? When he started doing this, he would take his telescope out onto the streets of San Francisco, pointing at the moon, and just as people would walk by, he'd say, "Want to look at the moon? Look at the moon." Most people wouldn't, but now and then he'd get somebody, and they'd look through it, and they'd go, "Oh wow!" And so somebody like, "Oh wow," then the next person would look at it because here somebody's exclaiming, "Oh wow!" And he would start getting a group of people around taking a look at it. So if that sounds interesting to you, reach out to John at Education. So we've got a lot of possibilities for people to volunteer. And then down here, you can smash that "I will volunteering." I know it's bad wording there. "I will volunteering," and then we'll at least get your name on the list, and we can contact you and find out what you want to volunteer for. The community tab here, it's got a lot of stuff for members only. So like you can go through, you can see what announcements we've had. You can look at the member directory. You can search for members. Um, a lot of members have their own astronomy website, and so you can see that there. We hand out observing awards. That's the Astronomical League Observing Awards. So there's a lot of people out there that are really interested in those, and that's a great way to get deeper into your astronomy. We have a newsletter that gets sent out monthly through email. We also have a astrophotography contest. We'll cover a lot of this in some of the slides. And this thing called a new members orientation. I don't know whenever we're going to do another one of those. Obviously, you're in it now. And this SAS discussion forum is being rebuilt. If you go to About Us, you can read our bylaws. We talked about the board. This is probably the most interesting part, where you can find out somebody that you want to talk to. Like if you need to talk to about your membership, like maybe you had a problem re-upping your membership and it's not accepting your payment, talk to Jennifer. And and if you're not receiving your newsletter, talk to Katie. Crystal is our secretary, and she typically sets up our Zoom meetings. Stephen is our treasurer. And then we've got John Bearskove. He just is our brand new VP of Education. So he's got a lot of really great plans. If you've got some ideas that you'd like to see, reach out to John. Keith is responsible for activities like finding guest speakers and such. And of course, I am your current president, and Aaron is our past president. And then David Ingram, he used to be our VP of Education, and he is now a trustee, and he is our Dark Sky Site representative. Then we got good old Russell Code. He's been running the Rattlesnake for years, and the Brooks. So Russell is it's great to have him there as a trustee. So that's our website. And if you have any problems with it, feel free to send an email to web-team@seattleastro.org, or just reach out to anybody on the board, and we'll take a look at whatever your issue is. Let's stop sharing that and go back to sharing. Well, you guys are quiet. You're not asking hardly any questions. It's kind of scary.
Oh, we have some questions in the chat, actually.
Oh, let's see. Let's take a look.
I've been trying to answer some, but the first question is this recording going to be available after the meeting, and where is it going to be published?
It will be on our SAS YouTube channel, and it's probably gonna take me a week to get it up there. So I'll look for it there. Next question. Was there another one?
There was a question about our dark site, if it's available right now, and I don't believe we have an access road there yet, right?
Right. We haven't even purchased the property yet, so
Okay.
we're still in the phase of acquiring the property. We have the funds to acquire the property, but we're just going through all the steps with the county to purchase it. And then development will we'll get to a slide. If you can hold off, we'll get to a slide there that talks about that. So
Okay, great. I think that's it for now.
We have an awards banquet, and that's coming up March 30th. This is a really fun thing to go to. We usually have a great guest speaker. This year it's going to be March 30th at the Burke Museum. We hand out awards to members that have done great in volunteering and achievements. We have an awesome dinner. And then we also have a fundraising auction to raise money for whatever project. And this year the project is the Dark Sky Site. So this is going to be at the Burke Museum, which is right across from the Theodore Jacobson Observatory there on the UW campus. And here's the Starfield Complex. This will be a members only location. It's about 8 miles from Goldendale. It's 5 acres in a Portal 2 skies, elevation 2,300 feet. We're currently in phase 2 for fundraising. We hope to have it open to members to use by June. And depending upon the weather, if you like going out there in the snow, then it will be technically available year round. So you can see what's really great about this is we're buying 5 acres, and the Rose City astronomers down in Portland are buying the 5 acres adjacent to us. And so we're kind of like doing a lot of stuff, joint development and joint use. So we're going to have this joint telescope field. And so there will be members of both SAS and RCA there. And then we will also have over on the sides outside of the telescope field. So at the SAS, we will have our own facilities just for SAS members to use. And, like maybe roll-off roof observatories, pads to set up your telescope on, storage, a shelter, and things like that. You can see in the upper right, this is a picture of what the property looks like now. It is full of rocks. And the picture on the bottom is the Goldendale Sky Village, which is just like 200 yards down the road from us. Basically, they've done all the development themselves. A lot of members that are here or on this talk, they are actually GSV members, and so they've helped develop the site. So the lower picture shows what we want it to end up looking like, maybe in a year or two. But we hope to have it at least cleared and and usable um, by June. Any questions? All right. We have special interest groups. We have Astrophotography SIG has been running for years. Matt Dahl is the host for that, and it's the second Tuesday of each month, right before the general meeting. It's the day before the board meeting, and we're trying to. And so we have a BIPOC group that's just getting cranked up. That's Black, Indigenous peoples of color. We have the Astronomical League. It's not technically a special interest group, but when you start getting into doing observing the observing programs, it's definitely you definitely want to reach out to Dave. I think Dave Hoover is on here. We want to bring back the visual and telescope work group, and there's an attempt to get a women's group together. So reach out to Katie at Publicity. All right, moving on. So we've got a lot of wonderful women that are part of the SAS, and there's been requests to have some place for them to meet, and so we're trying to kick that off. Dave Ingram, are you here?
Yes, I am.
You want to give a quick talk about the Dark Sky Association?
Yeah, the SAS, as Alan has already spoken a little bit about, is party to 3 or 4 different organizations without any further cost or obligation by the members. The Astronomical League is at no further cost to members. It's part of your membership fee. We also use the Night Sky Network. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And we also do a support of the International Dark Sky Association, which is an organization that's been around for 35 years that is dedicated to protecting the natural dark skies from unwanted and obtrusive light pollution. Now, light pollution comes in different flavors. If you're out on a full moon, you've got light pollution from the full moon, but that's what we would call natural light pollution. If you happen to be out some dark sky place like Goldendale Sky Village, and somebody brings in some great big emergency repair lights from the highways and blasts those lights across all of the telescopes of the GSV stakeholders out there, that's unwanted and unnatural light pollution. Kind of in between the natural and the absolutely obnoxious and obtrusive is just the basic lighting that we have in our own communities. And many, many times it's just a matter of education that people are not aware that the lights that they're using just are completely unnecessary. They're too bright, and they frustrate a lot of people that want to see the beauty of the night sky over their property or parks or whatever else. And so in the 35 years the International Dark Sky Association has been around, they're now called Dark Sky International. They've recently rebranded. They identify skies by what's called a Bortle scale. And you can see the poster there. It says inner sky, inner city sky, suburban sky, rural sky, and dark sky. Those are Bortle, all the way down to Bortle 2 and Bortle 1 skies. The brightest skies, of course, are the high 8, 9 Bortle. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that the good lighting is used in the right places, and that necessary lighting is used in the right places, and that the two are something that we're well educated on, and we can help the community pick the right lights rather than disturb the night sky. So it's an activist from grassroots, basically, and we've been involved with that at least for 10 or 15 years. And the IDA is supported to the tune of at least $500 a year. Plus, there's quite a few events that come by that members of the SAS participate as well. So always a good opportunity to get better educated yourself, for your children, or your next generation. And happy to help out if you have questions.
Great. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, light pollution is the easiest pollution to get rid of. All it takes is to flip a switch. But there's a lot of things that we can do to help mitigate light and use it responsibly. And Dave's got lots of great information on that. We recently started up a BIPOC group. Jen, did you want to talk on this?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, our past president, Aaron, decided to put together a BIPOC group. And for those who aren't familiar, BIPOC means Black, Indigenous People of Color. So we are starting Sirius Astronomy Group for BIPOC and multiracial astronomers. And right now our mission statement is subject to change. We're still working on it. But basically a BIPOC and multiracial astronomy community that provides education and outreach. Our goals are to share the history of BIPOC key figures in astronomy. We believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion within the astronomy community. And with that being said, I just want to let you know the reason why we chose the Sirius star is because it's the brightest star in the sky, and it has very deep roots in many cultures. And because of that, we just feel like it's a good representation of our group efforts. The photo you see here was done by an astrophotographer. And basically he took different photos or pictures of Sirius. And these are the colors that were made through those pictures. And so they're just they were just combined here in the photo. Our first meeting, we're calling it a Sirius Leap for Astronomy because we're going to hold it on Leap Day, February 29th. The time is going to be 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the latest. The location, we're still working on that, but it will probably be in Seattle. So if anyone is interested in joining our organization, please reach out to sirius@seattleastro.org.
Great. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, and that is not on the calendar yet. I just checked, so we'll get that on the calendar probably right after this meeting. The AstroSig, Matt Dahl runs this. It's on Zoom, and it's the second Tuesday of the month. We got everybody from brand new astrophotographers to some incredibly talented and experienced astrophotographers. So if you're really looking to get into astrophotography or you want to up your game in astrophotography, you should definitely attend the AstroSig meeting. It's just awesome. And we also have an astrophotography contest that's run every quarter. And we didn't run one last year because most of last year because we had some Facebook issues and we couldn't do posting. So that really wasn't any good. But we're starting back up in the spring of 2024. Send your submission to Richard Groover at seattleastro.org. And then what he does is he posts them on Facebook and then uses, however many people like which one. And so basically it's a social media, people decide which one wins. Wendy, you want to talk about volunteer opportunities?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Wendy Frogett, and I am the SAS Outreach Coordinator. So my main job is just to manage requests from the community and then assign SAS volunteers to those events. So I have lots of different things that you can sign up to volunteer for. First, we have our annual banquet that's coming up on March 30th. We could use help with that. It's a big event. You could, work on check-in, decorations, setup. All of those things would be very helpful. You could run an educational booth or display at a local community event. We sometimes get requests to participate in festivals and things like that. So we, bring our outreach booth there, and you can chat with the community doing that. We have some school STEM nights coming up. Think like old school science fairs. We have one of those coming up in February, and then two coming up. I put June on there, but I think they're both in March. So one in February and then two in March. And those are good ways to meet other SAS volunteers because there's a lot of people that are sort of coming through the science fair, and they have lots of questions for us. And so if there's just one volunteer there, they kind of get bombarded. So that's a great place to have lots of volunteer help. Star parties, some of these Alan already mentioned, so I'll just go through them really quick. Help with star parties, help with the equipment team. He mentioned social media. If you, like writing astronomy news posts, that would be great. Lead a neighborhood star party or help out with our dark sky site. Do you want to switch the slide, Alan? Thanks. Our other big thing is we're partners with the Girl Scouts of Western Washington. So we will often help scout troops earn their space science badges. And we've done this both over Zoom and in person. So we have a lot of flexibility with that. And they're doing a lot of really cool things. Like some of the things they do on the badges is they've classified stars by temperature. They worked a little bit on some beginning astrophotography with their smartphones. So it's really fun working with the troops to just see what they're up to and really help them get up to speed with their astronomy. Next slide, I think. Oh, right. Okay, so we went through this already. Alan walked you through volunteering. So you can do that, or you can just send me a message at outreach@seattleastro.org and let me know what you're interested in doing, and I'll send you more information. Thanks.
Thanks, Wendy. We also need we also partner with University of Washington, and they've got this wonderfully old observatory on the campus. It's called the Theodore Jacobson Observatory. It's got this wonderfully old 6th century refractor, which can still be used, running off this clock drive. And the SAS has been very involved with the University of Washington. Dave, do you want to? Can you talk about this a little bit? You're familiar with this program.
It's a two-step process, unmuting myself. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Theodore Jacobson is basically a teaching tool for the college. They use the teaching tool of the the observatory and the lecture hall there in the same building as an opportunity for undergraduate students to practice what they've learned as astronomy and physics students. And they actually come to the University of Washington. They get instruction not only in the academia technical sides of astronomy and physics, but also in the career side of education, and outreach itself is a career field. And so many of these people will come through, and they'll be actually making presentations at the Theodore Jacobson while they talk to the issues of the night sky and astronomy, trying to get other people interested in the program, and even actually trying to recruit high school kids to come to the University of Washington. The SAS actually helped refurbish the refracting telescope. That telescope has been around longer than the SAS, but it did fall into disrepute, into disservice, and some of the SAS folks nosed around and said, if you wanted us to help, we could help put it back into service. And so about 25 years ago, we actually provided a lot of the touch time putting the telescope back into service. And since then, it's a very serviceable unit for outreach, as we said. So our activities start in the month of March, and we're twice a month at the Theodore Jacobson. It's a brown paper bags type reservation system where people actually come to the Theodore Jacobson and go through the observatory and get a chance to walk up the dangerous old spiral staircase up to the telescope. And then they come back down and they sit and listen to the lecture. And then they actually mill around on the property itself, where we have a solar system scale model set up and telescopes for people to look through, weather permitting. So that's a teaching tool, and the SAS provides volunteers to help do that.
Those the links I've got there, are those still good to attend as a guest? T Torres at UW, and then to inquire as volunteering as byron.jonathan@gmail.com.
I don't recognize either of those.
All right. So if you're interested in volunteering for this, go ahead and send an email to education or to outreach, and we'll get the correct information on who you need to contact. Thank you, Dave. Real quick, we've already been through the board members, and like I said, everybody in the club is a volunteer, and so everybody on the board is a volunteer. We definitely suggest that when we have our board meetings, they're on Zoom, and please attend a board meeting, and you can participate and influence what the club does. And every year we have a election to fill all these seats, and so if you would love to be on the board, we would love to have you. Dave, you want to go ahead and talk about Night Sky Network? Oh, we can't hear you. I think you're muted.
The California Science Center and Exploratorium actually is the site for the Astronomical Society of the Pacific. The Astronomical Society of the Pacific provides a lot of the curriculum and a lot of the scheduling for the Night Sky Network. Night Sky Network is funded by NASA and by the National Science Foundation. Provides a lot of great information from webinars and links to many of the programs that we're involved in, including the Astronomical League. They have monthly speakers from NASA and certainly from around astronomy in general. I know that a lot of people get involved with it. They actually draw the curriculum directly from the Night Sky Network. Their opportunity to link in, I guess I should step back for just a second to say the Night Sky Network and the Astronomical League are both offered to members, to new members, and they need to be opted into. We need to be able to sign you up for them. The Astronomical League will come to you, but you'll notice when you go to the Astronomical League that there's actually a login. And many people are not aware that there's a login and an ID, and it gets you second layer and back page and shopping and some of the other downloads. Same thing exists with the Astronomical League. Excuse me. Same thing exists with the Night Sky Network. There's a front page, and then there's buried below that on a password protect quite a bit more information that includes all school levels, tremendous information that can be used in our outreach activities or in your own home activities. And many schools around here actually use them completely separate from the SAS. They just tap into it, and it's a great opportunity to tap into webinars and to outreach material. Quite a bit of it, I would say more than 50% of it, is special event type things like meteor showers and supermoons, and certainly the eclipse that's coming up in April. There's just an absolute ton of material on the Night Sky Network, the more so the closer you get to a celestial event. And so we try to use quite a bit of that, but there's absolutely more information on the Night Sky Network than the SAS will ever be able to use efficiently. We're just tapping it.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. You need everybody. I would suggest go out there and check out the Night Sky Network. All right. So that kind of gives us a quick push through what is the SAS and what do we offer. And now I wanted to kind of get into, okay, you're a brand new astronomer, and you're really into astronomy. Where do you start? All right. You love Star Trek and Star Wars, and you've seen all those great images on the web. Where do you do? So you've joined the SAS. You've joined an astronomy club. That's probably the best thing that you can do to start, because now you're going to be hooked into all these other people that have lots of experience, and you can start hobnobbing with them and networking, and and start doing some deep dives. Make sure you subscribe to the SAS Facebook page. That way you'll get events as we post them. Check the SAS event calendar often. Go to star parties. This is what it's all about. You're going to go to star parties. You're going to learn how to operate telescopes. You're going to see all the various things out there. You're going to find friends, and you're going to start having lots of fun, and you're really going to start learning. Make sure that you check out items in the equipment library, and then volunteer. That's the next thing to up your game, is to start volunteering, and you'll meet more members in the club. Okay. Beyond the club, YouTube is your friend most of the time. So I'll have some YouTube channels for you to check out here. When you join, you're signed up to get Reflector magazine. And so this comes in, and this is full of great information about astronomy, and the Astronomical League. So you definitely want to read that. Put a planetarium app on your phone and get familiar with it. Most of them use AR technology, so you can point it up in the sky and you know what you're looking at. And I put on here, watch the Cosmos series, because I just think it's so cool. So if you can find some way to get maybe the Cosmos on DVD, I don't think there's a way to stream it yet. There's the old Cosmos with Carl Sagan, and the new Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they're both wonderful. And so a lot of people, of course, everybody's going to ask, which telescope should I buy? And a good telescope is the one that you're going to use regularly. If it's too much of a hassle to set up, if you find it's too much time, if it spends time in the closet or in the garage on clear nights, that is not the telescope for you. Get rid of it and find one that you enjoy. Don't go out and buy some huge monster telescope that you just don't know how to operate, or it's just too difficult to set up. Get something small, something that's compact, that you can carry around, that it's easy to set up and it's easy to use. Expectations. Everybody thinks, oh my gosh, I'm going to get this telescope. I'm going to look through it, and it's going to look, and I look at Saturn, and this is what I'm going to see. No, it is not what you're going to see. What you're going to see is probably closer to the little view of Saturn there on the right. You're going to say, oh man, I can't wait to see Andromeda Galaxy. You're going to point your telescope or your binoculars, and what you're going to see is not in the picture on the left. It's going to be closer to the picture on the right. Okay. Unless you're into astrophotography, what you're going to see is what you see there on the right. The exceptions to this will be things like the moon. You can get great views of the moon. Star clusters, open star clusters, and globular star clusters. What you see through the telescope is a good chance of what you're going to be seeing as the pictures that you'd see on the web. When you go out and you start your observing, one of the top things that you have to do is allow your eyes to dark adapt. This takes like 20 to 30 minutes, and you want to be in a really dark environment, no lights, and give your eyes, the iris, your pupils, a chance to fully dilate. And even the briefest glance, just the briefest glance, can reset your eyes right down. So you want to make sure that you give your eyes that chance to fully open up. A younger person, their eyes will be able to dilate larger than an older individual. Yes, I'm an older individual. Another technique is what they call is using averted gaze. So rather than looking straight through, when you look straight through the eyepiece, don't look directly at the object, look off to the side. Because what that's going to do is now, instead, the object's going to be on the side rods and cones of the back of your retina, which are more sensitive. It's a technique that you need to learn how to use, but you can actually, instead of seeing just a faint fuzzy, you'll see more of a faint fuzzy if you're looking at distant objects. Moving on to the next level. So maybe you've spent a couple of months or a year and you've looked through everything on your telescope and you're starting to get bored. And you're like, oh, you know, I spent $2,000, $3,000 on this equipment and I'm starting to lose interest. Everybody hits this. Don't think it's just you. What you need to do is you need to start taking your astronomy to the next level. You need to go beyond being a casual amateur astronomer to being a serious one. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. Start keeping a log and sketch what you see. By making the action of sketching and logging what you're looking at, it will make you take that into your mind and you will actually discover more. It makes you focus on what you're looking at. Take on an observing program from the Astronomical League, and we'll cover that in just a minute. This will take you deeper by having you like do the Messier list, and this is like a list of 109 objects that an astronomer by the name of Messier covered when he thought he was looking for comets, and he found all these other objects, and these are his list of rejects, which we turned out to being, oh my gosh, these are incredible items. Take an astronomy course online. Right now, I'm taking a course through the Kalamazoo Amateur Astronomers, which is free, and it's a wonderful little course. Share what you know with others. Tackle and take on a citizen science project. There's lots of citizen science that you can do to help professional astronomers and organizations collect data to help figure out what's going on in this vast cosmos of ours. The Astronomical League has set up these. Dave, are you on? David
Yeah, it
Hoover?
looks like somebody muted me again.
No, David Hoover.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm here. It took me a while to unmute it. Sorry.
Hey, Dave, do you want to talk about the observing program real fast?
Yeah, it's real quick. The Astronomical League's got roughly 80 plus observing programs of different celestial interests. So Alan's mentioned the Messier objects, but there's more in-depth ones of Herschel objects. There's open clusters, globular clusters, double stars. If you do a lot of outreach events, that some people really enjoy doing that. There's an award for outreach. As different celestial events, sometimes they have special ones for like a one-time event that only happens on and with great infrequency. There's observer awards. You just go on. There's, like I said, there's whatever your interest might be in astronomy. They generally have one, and they keep on adding more and more on there. So we've had on our website, we have a list of people. I think Alan flashed that earlier in the meeting, but you could scroll down and see who's. We have one member. I think it's up in the 20s in terms of the number of these programs. So which you have to do certain objectives. So some of it usually has to do with either keeping a log on your observations and sketching or photography, but it allows you to be a better observer by going through these programs. So you have to see X number of observing objects and then record them. And then what I can assist with you if you have questions on that in terms of submissions, I can review your end product before we submit it to the observing program coordinator who will approve it. If not, you can just submit them directly to that person. But if you're new to the program, having somebody look it over just to make sure you meet all the requirements, it's just so it doesn't get kicked back. It'll be smoother that way. So anyhow, like I said, if you have any questions on any of this program, just go to the Astronomical League website. Once you open them up there, they show the criteria for them. They're wonderful programs. I've done a couple myself, and I highly encourage participation in those programs. And we'll try to, as new ones come open, we'll try to get a little more information out to our general society just for awareness. But like I said, there's 80 plus of them currently, and that's one of the mainstays of the Astronomical League is education of its members. So if there's any questions, I'll look for them in the chat.
What's really, if you look right here, thanks, Dave. If you look right here, you can see that they've got programs for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. So, like the Galileo observing program, it takes a little while to go through it because it takes at least a year because it's going through so many various things that, like you can't see Jupiter all the time. So you can only, there's a fixed period of time, and, Jupiter is starting to become further and further, is not up as much because it's going to be setting soon. So, if you're going to look at the Galileo objects, you need to get that taken care of now. And it's got solar observing, constellations, the moon. What's really great about the Galileo one is it encompasses a lot of various items. So definitely, I've submitted all of my outreach stuff, so I'm going to be getting an outreach certificate from them hopefully soon. Fingers crossed. And so I'm working on a couple of other ones, and some of them you can kind of go through fast, and some of them take years. So
Alan may also mention too that you mentioned in terms of novice level, some of those programs are geared specifically to kids and youth as well, which I should mention that. So if, hopefully we're gaining more membership by some high schoolers and younger folks, but there's programs that are geared specifically for those individuals as well.
Right. Yeah. So this is, definitely go to the Astronomical League, go to their observing programs, and take a look through all those. And it's pretty cool. Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
So let's say you've been doing this for a little bit and you want to dip your toes into beginner astrophotography. Well, everybody's got, a cell phone, and on your cell phone, you've got some pretty good cameras on the back. So there's two ways that you can start in this. One is just using your phone camera alone to take some wide field Milky Way photos. And all you have to do is just buy a cell phone tripod adapter. And if you don't already have a tripod, just go get a little tabletop tripod. And then if you have an iOS device, you can get apps like Astro Shader or Nocturne or the Nightcap app. And they will basically kind of step you through taking some pictures. So that the picture there in the middle at the top, I took that out of Brooks using the Nocturne app. Basically, I set it up, pointed at the sky, ran Nocturne, and just hit the button. And it took about, I don't know, must have taken 60 pictures, stacked them, aligned them, and it produced that picture of the Milky Way. And then you can see another picture there that somebody took of Orion. If you want to take it up a notch, you can always get um, uh, a cell phone adapter for both either binoculars or a telescope, and that way you can put your phone right up to the eyepiece. I have not had very good results doing this, but I've seen a lot of good results. I just haven't spent the time it takes to hone this skill. It is a skill, but you can see some results that people have received off on the right hand side. The easiest target is the moon. But and then probably the next dark sky target is the one next to the moon there. It's the Orion Nebula because it's so bright. The Pleiades, which is off to there, and then there's a globular cluster. So those are easy targets, and they're bright, and so you just need to have fun with it. And as
Alan?
the yes,
I saw in I think it was the March edition of Sky and Telescope. I assume he's a member. Didn't recognize the name offhand, but he took a cell phone picture that's featured in the magazine in the back for the partial solar eclipse that we just had.
you said it was the Sky and Telescope,
Yeah, it's in the very back. There was a picture. He did it with a cell phone.
and that's
The March edition of it, I believe, is the March.
let's see.
Oh, there was a question also too while you're looking that up there, Alan. Someone asked a question about the Reflector magazine. You get that by virtue of your membership with the Seattle Astronomical Society. Every member of the SAS will also become a member of the Astronomical League, and you'll get that mailed to you directly with the address you provided on your membership application.
Yeah, so right here in Sky and Telescope, I don't know if y'all can see that. David Thorne took a picture of the eclipse with his cell phone, and there he is, right there. He got an image right there in Sky and Telescope. That's awesome. Good job, David. I'll have to reach out to him and congratulate him on that.
I have a quick question, Alan.
Yes.
Do we need a subscription to receive the Reflector magazine?
No, that automatically comes to you. So with your it used to be that we offered both Sky and Telescope and Astronomy Magazine as an add-on to your membership. They've had some changes at Sky and Telescope, and they were having a lot of problems with their subscription department, and it became we had to quit offering that, but we do still offer Astronomy Magazine. You can still get the discount. And if you reach out, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you reach out to Jen, she will tell you how to do that after I tell her what to tell you. So I've got the email in my inbox, and I'll forward that to Jen, and then she can send that to you. So reach out to Jen if you want the discount for the Sky and Telescope. If you're like, well, hey, I'm brand new into this and I'm really looking for some books, what would you recommend? Here's some books that I recommend. These are some of the ones that I personally, if you really want to get into the moon, the Atlas of the Moon is pretty much in depth. A really cool one is the 2024 Guide to the Night Sky. These guides to the night sky, there's several different ones that are out there, and a lot of what they do has been taken over by a lot of the planetarium apps. But what's really nice is they're broken up into monthly, if almost weekly. This is what you can be looking at this night. These are the comets. These are the meteor showers. These are the planets that'll be out. And I really like to just hold on to that and keep those night sky. They're just wonderful to look at. and it'll show you and it'll break down what you can see there. And Turn Left at Orion is a great book. It's spiral bound, so you can open it up. What's really great is it shows you what you're going to be seeing through the eyepiece. So no fancy astrophotographer pictures here. The pictures that they show there are actually what you're going to see. And then they will also have a indicator of how difficult this is and the type of instrument that you can use to see it. So this is Turn Left at Orion is a very popular book. Under that is the Observer Sky Atlas. Unfortunately, this book, all the pictures are astrophotographer pictures, but it's really in-depth sky atlas, star chart. Again, yes, you can see the exact same thing using like Sky Safari or Stellarium, but I really like it having that book. For kids, Sky Gazing is a really kind of a really cool book. The front of it does, you expose it to light, and then in the dark it glows, so kids really like that. It's a really good introduction for kids, and it gives them little projects to do. Down there, My First Telescope, I thought it was a really neat book. Again, it shows you what you will see looking through the telescope, and it tells them what to wear and what to bring out with them. The very basics of a telescope. I actually found it fairly interesting myself. If you really want to, if you're only hardcore dive, there is the Backyard Astronomer's Guide. This is like a textbook, and anything you want to know about amateur astronomy, it is going to be in this book. It's a hardback book, and it's written by Terrence Dix and Alan Dyer, and they're really well known in the amateur astronomer for the books they put out. And then finally down there, the 50 things to see with a small telescope. I think this is like the adult version of My First Telescope for kids there. It's got John has done a really great job creating these things to see with a telescope book. But starting off, I think you can't do any worse. Spend $10, get this book, tell you how to use a telescope, and the first 50 things that you probably want to take a look at. So those are really good.
Hey, Alan,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. I have people that are needing to drop off,
All right,
and
I think we're just about there.
David has his hand up.
Okay. You might want to screen snapshot this one right here for YouTube channels, apps, and websites that you want to take a look at. And feel free to drop off. Again, we'll have this on the on our YouTube channel, so you can come back. We've only got 2 or 3 slides left, so take a look at that. You can get hoodies and swag at Cloudbreak Optics. Go to their website and you can order these. Then Stardate. This is a program that we've been sponsoring. You can stream it off their website Monday through Friday, 6 p.m., Saturday, Sunday at 3 p.m. I've listened to this since I was a teenager. It's been around for a long time. I really like it. And that's it. So thanks for hanging on this long with us. And any questions left? Anybody? Open it up. Start talking.
With regard to the books, Alan?
Yeah.
With regard to the books, one great source of books is certainly Cloudbreak Optics. If you go down looking for telescopes and binoculars, they have many of the books that you've already shown there. That's a great location, and you're supporting your local astronomy shop. Even better is Half Price Books. Half Price Books around the Puget Sound area literally has almost all of those books at less than half price.
Definitely. Those are great. if you're looking for telescope accessories or anything like that, definitely go down to Cloudbreak Optics. Um, the people that own that are SAS members. They will give you really great information, great tips, help you troubleshoot your telescope. Definitely go down and check out Cloudbreak Optics. They're in it escapes me. Not Fremont. They're in
Ballard.
Ballard.
Ballard. Yeah, they're down
Yeah,
in
right,
Ballard.
right by the Ship Canal locks, the Chittenden
Yeah.
lock. It's right outside it.
So definitely go down and talk to Stephanie and Matt down there and check out the stuff that they have. They've got stuff on consignment as well as brand new telescopes. Anything else, anybody?
Have a
have
question.
hoodies.
And they also have the hoodies down there. Yes. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Manny.
Yeah. It's a great lecture to listen today. I have a quick question on, does SAS offer any lectures or talks related to like theoretical concepts in astronomy? Let's say if I'm interested in cosmology or something. I know there are like meetings where the guest lectures will come and, talk about different things. But if there are any concepts that people are interested in, are there any kind of programs that you, conduct?
We do not currently have you're probably thinking, I think it sounds like he's talking about maybe something like the what's that Astro on Tap. We don't have anything like other than short of our guest speakers that we have at our general meetings. And you should
Mhm.
definitely go to our YouTube channel and check out those. These are real world professional astronomers, and they're giving you talks on whatever their current research is about. And
Okay.
there's some really great stuff there.
Mhm.
But so are you looking for like maybe having where we like gather in a library or a bar and just talk about stuff? Is that what you're looking for?
More looking for kind of a lectures or any like meetings where we can chat, like discuss about like Q&A or something like so, uh, people or folks might be interested in some topics in astronomy or astrophysics, and if we have any certain questions to bring up to the board, where if there are any experts or researchers who have already done some work in that area, they can sit together and chat about that.
I think probably let's say if there's something that you're specifically interested in,
Mhm.
send Keith, activities send Keith your interests, and then he can go out and find a speaker on that topic for one of the upcoming general meetings.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest that. And Keith is always looking for ideas for upcoming guest speakers.
Okay.
Alan?
Yeah.
Alan, this is Dave. The astronomy on taps in Seattle, it's held at Bickerson's Tap House in Ballard currently. And in the past, they've had discussions on cosmology and cosmologists. That's usually there's some people in graduate programs or professors that may be visiting, and that's sometimes a component of their presentations. So I would check if you're not familiar with Astronomy on Tap. They have a Facebook page, Astronomy on Tap Seattle, and then usually it's once a month that they meet there. So sometimes that subject does wade into their presentations.
Oh, that would be
Right.
great.
Yeah, and we've done a couple of stuff with them, and they had stopped because of COVID, but I think they started back up over the spring, I think it was, and so that they're doing those now. But it's a great question.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? Let's see who else. Did we go through all the, Jen, have we answered all the questions in the chat?
I believe so. I've been responding as well, and then asking you if I didn't know the answer. There
Right.
was one interesting conversation we were having. I'm just trying to find it. So somebody asked, star parties are super fun and they're a great learning opportunity. Are there other ways to pursue this hobby with the telescope when star parties and observation opportunities are not possible for extended periods of time due to weather?
Yeah, so that's always the biggest thing about being in the Pacific Northwest, right? Is there is a lot of downtime. Short of maybe, I know a couple of people use robotic telescopes. They'll subscribe to some robotic telescopes. And I think NASA even has a is that SLOOH, SLOOH, I think, where you can have them image a target for you, and then you just get all the data. Short of that, there's not really too much we can do. It was one of the reasons why we've kind of gotten this dark sky site over on the east side of the mountains that we're putting together, because they have twice as many clear sky nights there than I think it's over twice than we get here. So that will be available to us. And you know, going to our general meetings, I know that we have a couple of members that are learning how to run some of the planetariums in the local area. So if you're interested in that, you might want to reach out to the secretary at Seattle Astro, Crystal. She's learning how to run the UW planetarium.
One more question, Alan. Will we be having any kind of mentor program to meet up when there is good weather, for instance?
What kind of a program?
Mentor?
Mentoring?
M-A-N-T-O-R?
Mentor. I don't know what that is. Mentor.
Oh, Steve C., could you come off mute and share with us what program you're talking about?
We should think about starting up a program where members are willing to meet with people individually to mentor them with their scopes,
Oh, mentoring.
whether it actually is good.
Yeah, we might have like a buddy. That'd be kind of cool, like a buddy
whatever,
program.
yeah.
That might be something that we should look into, is people that would be willing to be like a big brother or big sister.
I'll be the first volunteer.
Yeah, we should look into that.
Awesome.
Reach out to talk to Wendy and John about, we should look at cranking that up. I would be really interested in that as well.
Hey,
Anything
Alan,
else?
this is
Yeah.
Dave Hoover again. I just I put a link for the astronomy on tap in the chat. They
Okay.
have I think it's next Wednesday, January 24, 7 p.m. at Bickerson's. The talk's going to be on black holes and kingdoms, as it's called.
Oh, cool.
I don't see a link.
Well, he's over in Eastern Washington. It takes a while to get back over here.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
How are the skies there tonight, Dave?
Are you talking Dave Hoover?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm here in Seattle, so I'm looking.
Oh, are
over
you?
here.
I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I got a property. I have a property over there, but I'm not there right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you lived over there. Okay.
Oh no.
All right. Well, if nobody has anything else, we'll get this video up on our YouTube channel. And I want to thank everybody for coming out, both the speakers and everybody that attended.
I think we're missing that link that Dave said he put out in the chat.
What's weird, I see it there, but I don't know. It says Jen looked like she gave me a thumbs up on it, so I don't know why it's not there. I don't see the link. She says I don't see the link. I know I
it
dropped it in there. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'm
might have
signed
went
on as a
direct-
guest.
Dave, it might have went direct to Jen.
Oh,
Instead-
did you
Yes,
put
it
it in
says-
general
doesn't see it
membership or
either.
did you respond back to Jen?
Let me see. Oh, maybe I sent to Jen here. I don't know why. I don't know if Jen has it or not.
That's one of the problems with Zoom. If you don't change who you send things to, it sticks to them.
So for all the new members, the best thing that you can do now that you've joined is to get out, go to star parties, go to meetings, become involved. That's the best way for you to grow. And we really hope to see you guys out at the star parties. Yeah, it's a little cold and it's a little cloudy right now, but hopefully starting in April and May, maybe March, we'll start getting better weather and we'll be able to see you there. All right. We're going to go ahead and end this, and I want to thank everybody for being here, and just thanks a whole lot, and we'll see you there. If you have any
Bye,
questions, feel free to email me or Jen, president at seattleastro.org or membership at seattleastro.org. Yeah, Jen, did you have something else?
No, I was just saying bye, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.